It's not every day you start the adventure of a lifetime. What is going on, River Rats? And welcome back to episode 2 of the director's commentary for the My Great Escape River series. Couple of housekeeping things real quick. Number one is I'm going to try to do these streams on Friday nights at 6 p.m. Try to make that a steady schedule. I kind of forgot that Christmas was going to be in here, but nonetheless we're doing it today to make up for yesterday. So. And then the next thing is I had a gentleman named Brady who had a really good idea, and he recommended that during these streams I actually talk about the mileage, and I thought I would also throw in the map. So this is the app Strava, and we'll go over this one now because this was from day one. So this is from the north point on Lake Itasca where the river comes out, and you can see that's the track. Every little squiggle is a good-sized turn switchback, and it ends there at Coffee Pot Landing. But what's cool about Strava here is it has my distance, my mileage, and everything, my elapsed time. This is from 2018. My 2019 one had a glitch in it, and it basically drew a line from here to here and skipped this entire chunk of the river. And so that's why this is the 2018 track, but it's the same exact track pretty much, so there wouldn't be a lot of difference in that. And so it's pretty cool. So day one from Itasca to Coffee Pot would have been 16.58 miles. And I'll try to jump in at the end of each day, and we'll throw in the next map and the next elapsed time and mileage. So, but just kind of a cool thing. I was able to keep all those, and I got them all set up and ready to show you guys. So, but we'll jump into episode 2 here and do what we do best and talk river. All right, it's not every day you start the adventure of a lifetime. Good morning, everybody. Day 2. So we are back at Coffee Pot Landing. We drove back to Itasca last night and stayed at the campground because they have firewood and there's coffee and stuff. So today's plan is to launch here from Coffee Pot. We're going to switch over from the Afante, which did an excellent job of taking all the abuse of the first part of the river. So I get a ton of questions about this, is why did I have multiple kayaks? And if you watch the first video, you got to see exactly why. I mean, the first part of the river is very shallow, very rocky, and the ability to be able to take my cheapy 10-foot Pelican kayak, which I have put through absolute, hell, and it's held up amazing through everything. It's very light. It's very easy to just pick up, throw on my shoulder. I can do anything. And this is all made possible thanks to my wife, because she was actually willing to be up at Itasca for the day and wait for me to get over to Coffee Pot Landing, where we could then switch out the boats and everything. A little bit more speed and agility. So that's the plan. So we'll leave here. We got the Stumpeaches Rapids and about 16 miles to Fox Trap, campsite if I decide to stay there. Otherwise, Pine Point's the next one up. We'll see how it goes. But we'll see you on the water. Hi, wife.
Hi, husband.
See you in a day.
Everywhere.
See you in a day.
Yeah. I'll text you.
Escape with Jay.
Escape with who?
Don't cry when I go around the corner.
Probably will.
Ugh. This would be an easy 16 miles.
Ridiculous.
See you. So in 2018 we had a lot of floodwaters, and I was really excited to see what was around these next few bends because I didn't do this part of the river because of the flooding. And this year, obviously, it's an entire trip, so it was exciting to see what was actually down here. And it's so nice up here. I mean, everything is so quiet and you feel like you're out in the middle of nowhere. Alrighty, we are on our way. We just left Copperfell Landing, day 2, and heading on into the unknown. I have not done this part of the river yet, so I'm excited to see what it looks like. Stumpyja's Rapids coming up, about a mile. So I'll probably check in with you when I get to that. Otherwise, I'll film anything I think looks interesting. Catch you soon. So this is the best way I could think to show this stretch of the river. You can barely see over the grass, and this is early June, so just 2 weeks ago there was a foot of snow on the ground, and that was from a fresh snow. And so it's the grass is really short. Later in the year, this grass is far taller than you'll be able to see over. But it does get a little repetitive. I mean, there's no way around it. You're kind of in this little tunnel of green grass and water, and there's not much to see. Trees are always off in the distance, you know, and you think you're closing in on trees and the next section of the river, and the trees disappear again. But yeah, it's just kind of a grinder to get through all the twists and turns of the first couple days. Well, give the tree credit. It tried to block the whole river. It just didn't have it in it. Pretty cool because then you enter this area and it's just thick, solid trees, and this is kind of where the Stumpyja's Rapids are located. Just tons of debris in the water. It's awesome that I was able to actually get around it all. So this area here, keep in mind I went on a flood year. I actually grounded on a rock coming through here. It was just far enough under the surface where I went up over the top of it, and when my butt came over the top, I just ground to a halt and was just sitting in the middle of the river. It was probably right after this scene here, somewhere right up in here, but didn't make the video, so... Just quiet, clean little river coming through the woods. This is where the other stretch of rapids would be. It's just a cool area. It's nice because you've been in the grasslands for so long up to this point, hours of paddling. It's really nice to get into the trees, into the woods, and then the rapids give you a little bit of something to do. So it's kind of a cool area, and the timing is just right. Pretty sure that was the first set of rapids. I think they said there's 2 half-mile stretches. Definitely taking the new out of the bottom of my boat coming through here. It is what it is. It's fun. It's better than the marsh. Just came across Daryl and his son Jonathan. They were stopping for some food. We were kind of discussing what we wanted to do for camp tonight. So let's see what they end up deciding to do. They told me that they left their campground about 9:30. I left my campground, Coffee Pot Landing, at 10:30, about 2 miles behind. So Daryl and Jonathan ended up spending the night at the campsite right after Coffee Pot, and it's not too much further, a few miles, but it was very heavily infested with mosquitoes and ticks. I don't think that that one ever gets any real maintenance to it at all. From what I understand, I'd never even actually been up there to see it. We're finally coming up on Foxtrot. We see some trees again. The most elusive creature out here, trees. You can see them from a distance, but you just cannot get to them. So yeah, here's what I'm looking at. And we should be at Foxtrap soon. So we'll check in with you there. So Foxtrap campsite is absolutely beautiful little spot. It is out in the middle of nowhere. That's Daryl and Jonathan. They were just an hour or so behind me. But it is just dead quiet out there. You got the river. It's such a cool spot. If I do the headwaters again, I will be stopping at Foxtrap because it's just such a cool little spot. We just wanted to get a few more hours in before the end of the day, which is the only reason we didn't stay. But yeah, Young River, you can see why some of it takes you so long. It just zigzags all over the place. That's Jonathan standing with me. Alright, so we are getting set up to continue on to Pine Point. Foxtrap is a beautiful campsite. I would love to stay here. So people have asked, you get no reception out there, but that's actually my GPS text coming through. My wife, I think she was just letting me know at that point that she had made it to Bemidji and was at her hotel for the night. And so the GPS text thing that I had was amazing, and that's through the Garmin InReach Explorer Plus, I think it is. And yeah, that thing worked amazing. This stretch of the river, a boat with a rudder, is a huge plus. So Pine Point Campground sits up on this little point on this hill, and you kind of actually got to go through some little teeny channels cut into the cattails. Pine Point Campground. And it's kind of off the main river. First night alone on the river, day 2. And I'm about to destroy a pack of hot dogs because I am starving. Apparently now there's people living at Pine Point. They're not supposed to. I almost don't even want to waste time. Rumor has it they're just some homeless folks that are staying there. So some paddlers have been kind of creeped out by it because obviously you don't know these folks. So some people have been moving on to the next one, which I think is Iron Bridge campsite. Otherwise you could just stay at Foxtrap and then just bypass the Pine Point. They're not supposed to be there for more than 14 days, but I heard that they've been there for quite a while. Oh yeah, hot dogs. Hot dogs and a tortilla. don't know why. People, this is such a fun
Gourmet
topic for
eating out here
people,
on the
is me
river.
eating hot dogs out of this tortilla. I guess I just am not a picky eater. And so, you know, I actually had somebody reach out to me and said that their family watched this video and they had to try tortillas and a hot dog because they'd never seen that before. It's not like some amazing meal. It was just what I did. So, but it works. This is just a cool shot. Gives you a real sense of scale of the area and how zigzaggy the beginning of the river is. And this is the bog. This is where a lot of people will say, well, not a lot of people, but a fair number of people will say that they get lost in all the little twists and turns, and some of these will dead end. It is possible for chunks of bog or grass to actually go floating down the river and block off the channel for a temporary amount of time, and that can cause you some confusion too. But I made it through with no problem, but I went in June, which is pretty early in the year up there, so there's not a lot of growth yet. It's all still pretty short stuff.
So, this is the end of day 2. Good day. Got live streaming on Facebook and quick update on YouTube done.
I got that hat.
Tomorrow's a 20+ mile day. Gonna go from Pine Point to Bemidji, meet up with my wife again. Be my last chance to get any supplies I need or anything like that, and then she'll be heading home, so I'll be back on my own. But yeah, good night. Quiet. I'm all alone here at this campsite in the brand new tent.
And something to remember
exciting.
too
It's
about
gonna
Pine
get
Point is
cold
it does
again,
have drive-in
down into,
access,
the upper
so
30s,
there
it
is a
sounds like.
potential
So we
for
got a
people to show up
frost
there. And I
advisory
do
for
think it is a
this
boat
area.
launch, although the weight of the
Lovely.
river, it's down this
So I've got
steep banks. I don't really know how that would
sweatshirt,
work,
hooded sweatshirt,
but there is a
hat,
way for
socks,
people to
pants,
actually get in there
everything.
and launch
I
their
even had
boat.
some hot hands on the truck.
But just be aware that this is a campsite that
Down
has
in
a road
the
access.
bag. Hopefully that'll help a lot. I think the hot hands will help.
Yeah, I
feel
put hot
them, so
hands
it's
down
nice.
by my feet.
Hopefully they last.
Man, if you go early in the year, have
So-
some hot hands with you. Make a big difference.
Good morning. It is day 3.
So day 2, here's the map and mileage for day 2. Looks like 18.62 miles and about 5.5 hours there. So this right here would be Coffee Pot Landing, and then just zigzag all the way up to Pine Point. Fox Trap was like somewhere in here. You can see there's a glitch here. So 18.62 is probably a little shy of what it was. This is a straight line. There is no straight lines on the river at this point. So you can kind of see vaguely the river kind of comes down through here. But so the Strava would have lost its connection here, and then it regained it here. So there's probably a couple miles in there that actually didn't register. But that's that's roughly the map. Well, that's my video. All right, day 3.
Down there, so it's nice. Hopefully they last the night. So. Good morning. It is day 3.
There's a fun fact for you. I actually didn't know I put my hat on top of my head like that, my other hat. And that was something that I did all the time, so if nothing, I'm very consistent. I actually went back to see if I left my hat on shore because I didn't know I had it on my head. I mean,
That was obvious. So, but no big deal.
hey,
But 21,
What up,
22
Randy?
some odd miles today. Got to go through the wetland bogs. Hopefully that all goes well. Paddlers ahead of me yesterday. I got a hold of them on Facebook last
good
night.
to see ya.
They said,
Hope you had a
"No
good Christmas
problem."
and everything
So,
went well for you.
should be able to make it there, I think, without any issues. And yeah, same as always. One more way.
So these next scenes here where I put the drone up, this was something I wanted to do all the way down the river, was just have the drone up in there all the time and get these great shots. But later on in the river, the current was so fast, I was a little nervous to try to launch and recover the drone from the kayak. And so I'm super glad I took the time to get these shots. This was my first time ever doing a follow me above the water like this. So I was real nervous because I didn't want to lose my drone. But it worked out so well. And I mean, in the future, if I ever do trips where I can bring the drone with me, it's definitely worth taking the time to get these shots. It's good to see you, man. I'm glad you came out. Man, if I ever do a headwaters trip again, just doing a headwaters, not the whole river, I'm gonna hit that little lake back there. I bet there's some fish in there. So this is a good example of why people have such a tough time with the bog. Like, I had this idea coming through here that I'll just take the biggest, widest channel and hope for the best. Well, then you get here and it basically splits in half, and each channel is exactly the same width. And so I ended up just taking the channel that's on the video here going to the left. But you can see, you know, if you'd taken this way, dead end. If you'd taken this way, dead end. You know, obviously you probably wouldn't make it through here, but, you know, you could have come this way, come through here, went through that lake. But this is why people have trouble with the bogs, because there is just all these little offshoots that just kind of dead end. And so you just kind of know what you're doing. Obviously, the drone would have been a big help. At any point, I could have put the drone up to find my way. I love watching the videos too, man. They don't get old for me either, and I made them. Goes a future roadblock.
After a few more hours in the wetlands, you will start to get into some trees, which finally leads back into the forested area.
So this area was really cool, and I had a lot of fun in here. There's a ton of junk in your way, but it was just a really neat part of the river, especially because you're now out of the grasslands for a little while.
This area, although beautiful, has its own challenges, as many of the old trees along the banks of the river have fallen into the water.
It's a pretty unique section. I don't think any other section of the entire river is quite like this section. Just the amount of trees and debris in the water that you got to navigate. And so one thing that I learned, and it was a very valuable lesson on this stretch of the river, I didn't record it, I just wasn't recording at the time, but towards the end of this, there was a fresh fallen tree, big old tree that completely blocked the river. And I made this decision that, I was going to go to the right and get out on the right bank and portage it. Couldn't do it, so I second guessed myself and then went to the left, and then I couldn't make it and ended up getting stuck somewhere in the middle. By that time then I had caught up to that tree that was in the water, and it was something similar to this, but it was actually on the water level, and ended up holding onto the tree sideways and had to pull myself up into the branch and the canopy of the tree, take a saw, cut my way through. It was just a nightmare. So it was a very good lesson. Just make a decision and stick with it. This swing I've seen in several other videos, that's why I had to show it. But yeah, moral of that story is if you have to make a decision, just make your decision and go with it, because the current doesn't pause for you to think. So, just a good learning experience.
Navigating the fallen trees of the forested area, the river opens up into its first big body of water, Lake Irving.
It is pretty cool. You come out of the small, narrow little river that you've been in for a couple days now, and just boom, it opens up into this big lake. It's pretty cool. A few bridges and you'll be in Lake BEMIDJI. So there was some homeless guys that were staying under this bridge here, and we'll talk about it when we get into the next episode, but they actually caused some problems for the other paddlers, ended up stealing their boat from them. But they watched paddlers come through under here, and this is something I heard not just from other paddlers, but law enforcement as well, who were involved in searching for the other boat. And yeah, they'll wait for paddlers to come through, and if they see them stop somewhere, they'll run over and grab their stuff. This bridge is just kind of an iconic spot on the river. A lot of people take their picture with it. My wife actually rented a hotel room here.
I paddled across the lake to the west side.
So that's what we ended up doing for that night. Hey everyone. This is going to do it for episode 2. I really hope you're enjoying this series so far. There is still a lot of river to go. Alright, so here's that day 3 map. Pine Point to Bemidji. They're not all labeled as nice. The full track here, this one didn't glitch out at all. So 20.95 miles. And yeah, I guess it didn't log the total time on water. But nonetheless, that's what the track looks like. So pretty cool. And let's fire up episode 3 here.
Alright, it's not every day you start the adventure of a life.
So episode 3 starts out. After episode 2 ended, I got all set up in the hotel room. I had actually brought the kayak to the back of the hotel. They had a kayak rack back there with other boats on it. I locked my boats to that rack. Daryl and Jonathan actually ended up stopping somewhere kind of on the, what would it be, the north end of the lake, I think, if my memory serves me right. And they just with rope tied their boat up to a tree. And they just quick ran across the street to get a bite to eat. When they came back, their boat and all their stuff was gone. Everything was gone. All they had on them was their clothes and their wallet. Everything else was in the boat. So at, I don't know if it was Coffee Pot Landing or at Itasca, I had given them my phone number and said, if you guys have any issues along the way, my wife will still be up here for a while. She'll have the truck. Just give me a call. And so they ended up calling me that night, and I was already all settled in. I was all clean and changed and everything, sitting there eating Burger King or whatever we had gotten that night. And Daryl called me and told me, he's like, hey, I have to let you know, someone stole our boat and all our stuff. And I was just, I was like, what? No way. And of course I jumped up. I mean, I'm already getting dressed while he's telling me this, because I knew for a fact I was going searching for that boat. The sooner I could get out there, the better. Our hotel room actually faced the lake, so I looked out the window the first thing to see, because I figured if I could see them, I'd just throw the drone up and put the drone above them and let the drone do a track them, and I could sit there and film them stealing the boat. But I didn't see them. They actually had already gotten too far out of sight. But what ended up happening was we went back to that bridge where those guys were all hanging out under that bridge, and Daryl went one way down the shoreline. I went the other. I had my wife wait with the truck because I didn't want her to get involved in anything. But let's see here. But yeah, so anyway, Daryl ended up finding the boat, and then he called me and said, hey, I got it. It's over here on shore, yada, yada. So I ran over, and we found it, and then we ended up paddling back across the lake. Everything was still in there. And actually what's super funny is whoever stole the boat used a pocket knife to cut the rope that was holding the boat on shore, and they stuffed that pocket knife in Daryl's life jacket, and so they left it in there. So when we left, he actually reached into the life jacket, found the knife, and then he also we found some of their trash in the boat. So it was just kind of funny. They went to steal a boat and a bunch of stuff and get a bunch of free gear, and they actually came out behind because they lost their knife. He called me and I ran over, and we paddled the boat back across the lake to their hotel. It was an incredibly close call. Let this be a lesson. Always secure your gear, no matter where you are. I was so glad my wife and I were able to help, so they were able to continue their journey.
All right, so we are here at Stump Lake. This is the northernmost point of the Mississippi River. This house here has a little door hanger in there. It shows you the sign that just says that, the most northern point on the Mississippi River. Once we get through this area, we'll generally be heading south now. So for the past 3 days, we've pretty much been heading northeast. So it'll be nice to finally point the bow south and start making progress towards the Gulf of Mexico.
I tell you what, if I could pick one of the lakes to live on, it would be Stump Lake. It's such a nice little lake, little area. It's a reservoir, but it's got great fishing in there. I fished in there in 18, and yeah, I just really enjoy Stump Lake.
It's about as easy as they get right here.
Talking about the portage for the Untitled Dam, pretty easy one. Great starter portage.
Oh yeah, you need a hand?
Nah. All right, so if you're just getting done with the Stump Lake area and you're craving some current, all you gotta do is get past the dam. All right, we just finished our portage around Ottertail Dam, and we will now be heading downriver. And we got current, ladies and gentlemen, current to work with. I haven't had that for a couple days, so it's kind of nice.
I love the river after Ottertail Dam. It's just boom, it's just solid trees. There's some rapids. This is a flood year, so the rapids aren't as obvious here. But it's just nice, clean, it's just quiet river. It's just cool to be back here.
Alright, heading south.
I think it's funny too, there's always that first time you get that first rain when you're on the boat. And that's one of those moments where you truly realize that you are out there and there is no, running inside because it's raining. You are now out in the wilderness and dealing with it. It's pretty cool. I liked it. On the map after Stump Lake, you'll see a overlook or high point or something, I think they call it, high bank. And it's just simply this sandy bank you can climb way up on, get a good view of everything. This is the day of lakes. It's just lake after lake after lake. All the lakes are beautiful, just clean water.
Alrighty, so we are out here on big old Cass Lake. Beautiful lake. I like it here. I was out here last year and stayed on Star Island and thought it was an awesome place to stay. It was probably my favorite spot. A little bit of wind seems to be coming right at us, same as last year. No big deal. About halfway to the first island on the crossing, and yeah, all's going well. I still have my paddling partners, Daryl and Jonathan. We've been kind of tagging together all day. I think we're going to make a pit stop on the northeast peninsula on Star Island, and from there head to Newton's Dam and check out camping for the night.
So Cass Lake is a really big lake, and if it's a windy day, you might not be able to get around it. It's just so big and so wide open that the wind whips up this water real quick. So it's kind of cool though. You come out of the river. If you go straight across, you just come out of the river and go straight. There's basically 3 islands that you kind of hopscotch between the islands, and that allows you to stay out in the middle of the lake, but still kind of have a safety net of some islands not too far from you where you are. And then there's the big old Star Island, which is what we're on here. In my 2018 trip, I stayed on this point on Star Island, a little further back down, but yeah, this water is just crystal clear. It's amazing. I went swimming in this lake last year. It was the year before this trip. Just super cool. And Star Island is so big, it's got its own lake on it. So this is like Lake Wendigo or something like that. But basically, you come through, the river enters the river, or the river enters the lake somewhere over here, if I could talk. And then these are the islands that you can kind of skip across and then come through here. And then there's just this huge bay that you cross. And that's what gets you to that point on Star Island. But yeah, you start way over here, and you just kind of make your way over, and then round that corner. And I think this bay crossing is like a mile or a mile and a half or something. It's big.
To give a sense of scale, in the middle of your screen, this is a pontoon boat. Kind of shows just how big Cass Lake really is.
It's pretty cool. You can see all the different sandbars and everything. I mean, that's how clear that water is even from way up here, you can just see all the sandbars. Lots of mosquitoes. Full of mosquitoes. What's super cool too is when you come off this point and you start paddling to get across the last bit of the lake, you can see the ground just kind of slowly start tapering down, and then you start seeing weeds that are like, they gotta be like 15 feet. You can almost see them in their entirety. It's like being above trees. They're so tall. The water is so clear. And then all of a sudden you're just over dark water. It's so deep you can't see the bottom anymore. It's just crazy how it happens.
We leave Star Island with the intention of making it across Cass Lake to the Knutson Dam campground. The storm that was tracking southeast decided to make a turn to the west. It really changed the personality of the lake.
Yeah, it did. Like, after a while, I stopped filming my transit, and when this storm hit this lake, I just watched the waves come across the water. It was the craziest thing, and I hit record as fast as I could, but it was just, it happened so quick. And yeah, I just wanted to get off the lake at that point. We started seeing more lightning off in the distance, and poor Daryl and Jonathan, man, with that canoe, they were out there.
Totally.
Of course, I watched them. If I would have lost sight of them, I would have went back for them in a heartbeat. But and I knew once I was by shore, at least then I could watch them, and I knew that I could get back to them within 15 minutes if I had to, I suppose. However long it would take me to race out there.
Hoy. The canoers are out there still. Hoping they're okay. Hoy, ay, ay.
Once I made it to shore, I was protected from the worst of the winds, and I kept an eye on the canoers. As long as I could see them, I knew they were okay. We finally made land at Knutson's, and we assessed the situation before making camp.
So there used to be a dam here. If you have old maps or old pictures, there used to be a dam that spanned this stretch of the river and blocked off Cass Lake from the river. That has been removed now. It's just rock rapids, which you see here. They just smoothed it out and they threw all these big boulders in there. And so there is no more dam,
All right, we are setting
which is
up
kind of
here at
nice.
Knutson's Dam recreational area tonight. We had some weather move in on us, and it was pretty unexpected. It was tracking to the south and east, and it kind of shifted. Now it's right on top of us. And we got a storm coming, so we're gonna rent the campsite here tonight, and yeah, ride out the storm. So
It was my first time using this tent in the rain, so it was nice that it worked. It held up really well. And this is actually what it looked like. Like, I couldn't believe it. There is no color editing here. This is actual footage of the colors. That turquoise water, I mean, it was just absolutely awesome to see. It was such a big lake to look across, too. You could just see lightning forever. It was so cool. Probably going to be a hard sunset for me to beat. Star Island's over here. Can't even see where you want to come out of the river.
pretty active night here at Cass Lake, or at the Knutson Dam recreation area. Got off the water and managed to nab a campsite for the night. Mosquitoes here are probably the worst I've ever seen anywhere.
True fact.
I actually had to resort to the bug net. So you can see Cass Lake behind me. We got pretty active weather rolling around. So yeah, it'll be a noisy night, but at least we're at an actual camp spot. So
my only regret is I didn't just
I couldn't
set the
think of a
camera
better
down
place to
and let it
end
just sit there and run, because I mean it just looks so
I truly
cool.
hope you're enjoying the series, and
Even the
hope you
video
continue to
doesn't
adventure
do
with
it
me.
justice. You
Thanks
know,
for
it just
watching.
looks
We'll see
so
you on the next
awesome.
one.
And you know, you're so young into the trip, and you're seeing stuff like this, and you're like, man, what else awaits me? So that was day 4. Here's the day 4 map, and yeah, you can see my hotel at Lake Bemidji through Stump Lake, and then yeah, here's Cass Lake. Unfortunately, you can't really see the islands, but basically, I came out of the mouth of the river. There's a little channel right here that goes from Lake Andrusia over to Cass. This is Andrusia here, and it's just this little channel that's cut in. It's really cool, actually, because boats can go from Cass Lake to Andrusia to Wolf Lake, and so it's kind of a neat little area. And once you get into Cass Lake, it's just boom, there's like a couple little islands. Here's that big bay crossing on Star Island. There's that lake on Star Island, and then yeah, just a big jump back over. And so 27 miles that day, 9 hours 27 minutes. So pretty neat lake. I really like Cass Lake. I don't know, a lot of people hate Cass Lake. I love Cass Lake. I think it's just that pristine clear water. I think it's a really cool place to be. I wish I had a boat that had an engine on it that wasn't powered by me, and could spend some time out there fishing those deep sandbars. I'd actually just like to go free diving in that lake, because I think it's so clear and so pretty in there. So, yeah, so that's pretty much it. So that'll pretty much wrap out this stream. We did 2 episodes tonight, episode 2 and episode 3, and yeah, it's super early in the river, but really cool place to be. I have a sneaky suspicion that I'll probably do the headwaters again someday, even if I don't do the entire river, just because I enjoy being up there so much. So, hey Brandon, how's it going, man? Came in a little late, but good to see you. So, yeah, if you guys have any questions, as always, you know, throw them down below, message them to me. This stream I'm recording, I know I don't have the best internet because I live out in the country, and I mean, we have, I think the fastest possible internet I get is like 12 meg, so it's not the best for streaming. So this time I'm actually recording the stream, so hopefully I can upload a live playback, and it'll actually look better. So, but yeah, you know, Brennick, thanks for coming up, man. It was good to see you. You take care as well, and we'll catch you guys on the next one. I'm gonna try to do these every Friday evening at 6 p.m. So hopefully I don't forget. But y'all take care, and we'll catch you on the next one.